Alright, so today I get to sharpen one of my favorite knives, a Takeda. Aogami Super, laminated and softer carbon on the outside, very thin, very shallow angle, and just a lot of fun to sharpen. I'll be starting out on my 1K Nubatama Ume. This is an extra hard stone. I'm starting here because there is not a lot of need for coarse grinding on these in most cases. We'll see if the geometry is disrupted or not, but I like to start here. So I'll start by flattening the stone. That's taken care of. I'm going to start out by just placing my fingers right on the bevel, holding it in place. Because the blade angle is so low on that, or the edge angle is so low on this, you'll see me stop and reposition my fingers. It's not as easy to flow from position to position, in my opinion, on this blade without stopping and repositioning. I just find I get better consistency that way. Moving along well. The geometry was not disrupted, not overly convex, as I'll usually find these with a lot of convex to the edge because it's not always easy to maintain this very shallow angle. So what a lot of people do is end up raising the angle a little bit and disrupting the geometry. But that's not the case here. And I already got a burr in the front half of the blade. Just going to work in the back half for a minute. Okay, so I'm going to shift the stone position over a little bit, and again, because of the grind of this blade, I'm going to change hands for sharpening. I find that it's easier to keep consistency by just changing hands. It's too difficult for myself to change over this way and try and sharpen. I just don't find myself holding that steady consistency. So by flipping over, I get equal consistency and very like scratch pattern on both sides. You might also notice that I'm putting the blade very straight to the stone. making my strokes like this, and the reason for that is because, again, keeping consistency in the bevel. The more you turn it this way, the more you grind sections out of the blade. So by keeping it longer this way, you're maintaining a more even path down the side of the blade. I also find it brings out the contrast a lot better when you do that too. Okay, so we're getting very close. Just gotta take and grind a little bit more back in here and a little more up near the tip, and we will be good. Now you can employ some of the same methods in sharpening this blade as you do excuse me, with a yanagi or a deba or anything like that. You can sharpen back on the soft metal to keep your edge thin, and then you give it a slight raise, and then you sharpen on your hard metal. You'll feel the difference in this by the way it grinds. You'll have a gritty feel on the soft metal and a very smooth feel on the hard metal. And if you get this feel down, it'll make sharpening these much easier. I just want to mention again that it's this to this is your angle difference that you're putting into the blade when you're sharpening these two. So it's not so much a difference in angle, but merely a difference in pressures in most cases. Coming along, a little more work here at the tip. Dry that hand off, switch back to the other side for a minute. So we're just about there. Another quick grind of the hard metal on this side. And we are good with that. Got a nice burr along there. I'm not going to worry about burr removal too much. It'll happen on the next stone that we'll be using. And for this, I'm going to remember to flatten my stone out again. You can kind of see the grooves that it puts in a stone. Now the reason I'm doing this is kind of twofold. One, so I don't have to flatten it next time, and two, to get the carbon steel out of the stone so the surface of the stone doesn't rust. Alright, so the next stone I'm going to use is good old Manzanillo. I really like this stone for finishing these blades, and this is actually where I'm going to stop with this knife today. These come rather toothy from the maker, and everybody that I know that purchased one has always liked the factory edge, and I personally like to keep the aesthetics of what the maker has done to the knife instead of alter it. And sometimes you can put a higher polish on them, but in most cases I think this is good enough. You can see that nice contrast that the stone leaves on the edge of the soft and hard metal. That's pretty good on that side. Again, switch to the other side. Alright, so there we go again on that side, looking pretty good, and pretty impressive. I'm not seeing much burr. Usually it's a fairly substantial burr at this point, but it's pretty small today, which is a good sign. I'm either doing my job well, or this knife has a exceptional heat treat and geometry, which they usually do, but sometimes you get those knives that are just a little bit better than the other ones. Switch back over to this side again. Okay, so that looks pretty good right there. Just take and give it some soft passes here. And let's see how it does on some newsprint. Yeah, I'd say that's got a pretty good edge on it at this point. It does get a little burr to it, but I'll hit that on my bare strop and take that away. And for the moment, let's see if we can get a good view. There you have it. Takeda petty sharpened on the natural layout.